Hi, I'm Dr. Ange Mack. Welcome to Operation Freedom 2, a fun and friendly show focused on our veterans' quality of life. Right now, we're taking a little bit of a different path just due to the environment and what's been going on with regards to COVID-19 and other things, in our communities. We're not focusing as much on all the fun things, but that is a priority. However, we are going to focus on some real issues at hand. Currently, we're going to be talking with Victor Angry, Prince William County Board Supervisor, and getting some information around some veterans initiatives and things he's spearheading as a retired Command Sergeant Major in the Army. I'd like to welcome Victor Angry to our show today. Hi, Victor.
Hello, Angela. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming on. And you're a friend of mine. You're a friend of so many in our community. I want to thank you for what you're doing right now on the Prince William County Board of Supervisors, what you've done in the past with the volunteer fire department, even with the nonprofit Nova Veterans Association. You're doing so much and you're doing such great leadership. I know one of the main priorities for you with regards to the Prince William County Board and Prince William County overall, our health and how we grow is the veterans initiatives. And you are the only veteran on the Board of Supervisors, is that right?
Yes, correct. That's correct.
And
Ruth Anderson was Air Force, and then of course she's not, but yeah, so that leaves me.
that leaves you. So coming on fresh here over the last year or so, what are some of your veterans initiatives? How are you trying to get the veteran component as into the foreground so we realize, how veterans impact, Prince William County, what they can do for us and what we can do for them? I know we have around 42,000 veterans in Prince William counties, and that doesn't count their spouses and family members. That probably puts it up into over 100,000 veterans and veteran family members just right here in Prince William. What are you looking to do to try to make some positive changes around our veterans' presence?
Yeah, that's a great question. You're right, about 41,000 veterans here in the county. And there's two spotlights that go with the veterans issues and what we're trying to do in the county and what I recognize. One is when we talk about small businesses, notice that there's a lot of veteran-owned small businesses out there that aren't added into the mix. The other side of that was our opioid crisis and epidemic that we've been having, and a lot of those numbers were experienced through veterans. So a couple of months back, prior to COVID-19, I had announced that we would be looking into standing up a Veterans Commission. So we've gotten kind of the legal ramifications of what that means underway. We had some footage going, and then of course the pandemic hit, and we had to kind of shift focus a little bit. So we've now begun the process of getting back focused on establishing this commission, what it looks like. So I have a meeting here hopefully next week with our legal team to talk about what the structure there should look like. And so that's our biggest piece we have going right now.
What's going to be the mission of this Veterans Commission? It's going to fall under the Board of Supervisors umbrella. Where is it going to fall within the government structure of Prince William County, and what's going to be the mission? I'm very excited about this. This is great news.
Yes, yes. I'm glad you're excited about it because you play a big role in this, as you well know. Nova Vets is probably have the model of what this commission should look like. So a lot of what you just asked, you're going to be answering yourself. I hate to put it on you like that, but I'm going to need your help with what this looks like. And so here's the deal. Right now, our top three commissions, we have the Board of Zoning Appeals, we have Board of Equalization, and our Planning Commission. Now, those are three huge commissions that do three huge responsibilities for Prince William County, all staffed by civilians around the county that want to be part of this board. I envision the Veterans Commission as being, if not, the top commission. It's in that top five. So those five all rank at the same level of a true relevant commission. Now the mission is going to be interesting because we have so many dynamics of issues, of veteran issues. From if you look at the school system side of this, there should be an accounting of all the children who are military children that schools actually get a portion of funding for. Well, we're seeing some disparities and some non-counting of those students. So that's a piece that's going to have to somewhere be rolled up under this, that we can actually put a team together to look at what that looks like and make sure it's actually happening. The other side I talked about is the business side of what's going on. So we need to really focus in on what a veterans business and what those initiatives and kind of what that whole looks like. And then our opioid is a huge issue that we really got to focus on. Our VA support, what our veterans are kind of going through. And then backed up to that is what you and I had talked about, which is our criminal element, our crime element of that, which is our justice system of how we're processing veterans who may have gone through a bad stint, because of a drug, a crisis or something, and it now has them a federal mark. So our justice system and how we're actually doing veterans on the docket, we got to look at that too. So there's a lot of areas that we want to roll into what it looks like and what the commission can really focus on, because there's so many issues. Here's something very interesting. There's only 2 jurisdictions in the state of Virginia that actually have a veterans commission. So we could model something there, or we could really look at what we have and then just, polish this thing to be the best, commission that we have. So it's exciting. It's going to be a lot. So.
Yeah, that is exciting. That is a lot. And now that I get a little better feel of what we're going through with this commission, I kind of think of it like when my approach to integrative healthcare and medicine and prevention. We have so many committees in so many areas that the Board of Supervisors covers within the county. I look through a health and wellness and disease prevention lens when I look at everything from economic development to building neighborhoods and having pathways and having prevention in place. So it's like every component of the county I look through with a healthcare lens, and I can see this commission doing a similar thing, but with regards to veterans issues. So some of it might be around, legal and the veterans docket. Some might be around, addiction and the opioid crisis. And then you have veteran business. And then you have children of the military. So like every area, we should be looking at it through a veterans lens and seeing how, because the veterans, they're, we are unique, right? We're unique in, our training. We're unique in some of our needs. We're unique in how we process and understand information as well. So all of these things we really have to think about when we focus on issues and how we're going to create positive change and sustainable change, and not just, cookie cutter, one size fits all, right, Victor? It's like, okay, we're talking about a veteran population. We're talking about veterans, kids who have been through things and moves and trauma that other kids probably have never faced in their life. So how do we think about that from a veteran's perspective? Well, you can't do that without having veterans, right, on the commission and, guiding the process.
Just listening to you talk, this is going to be exciting because, and I don't want to say, when I'm going to use the term of you get it, right? Like, I don't want to say that other people don't get it, but veterans are a culture in ourselves. Like we know, here's another thing, another area I looked at, it's purpose. When most veterans, whether you retire from the military or do 4 years or 8 years or 10 years or 12 years, but when you leave the military, if you've really been ingrained in the culture of that military, people want purpose again when they get back out. Like right now, I'm a volunteer firefighter. I know I say that a lot, but I needed that piece because it provided me purpose again. It gave me that spark again of being relevant for the people. You always want to be that protector or doing something relevant. So, you need to get a group that actually understands that veteran piece to create that. And then I think those are other things that a veteran commission could literally look into. I think once you get this commission established, the sky's the limit on what that team could look and say, we need to look at that. Again, like you said, that veterans lens. And I think that's very important that we do that, because we just got to call it what it is. This is a special group of people, really is. And I don't mean that in any bad way. I mean it in the most sincere way, that we could literally, integrate the veteran population back into society in a social realm that we connect to, because there is a connection that we need to work on.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. The more we can engage and work together, the better understanding we'll have just across the board. I
Mhm.
know one of the ongoing issues I had talked with Ruth about when she was in office, and she was a fabulous advocate, for
Yeah,
veterans issues, is that we're dealing here in Prince William County with issues around, veteran transportation, getting them everything from doctor's appointments to, some of the fun stuff around at the Workhouse for the Arts or the Hilton Performing
yeah,
Arts or the VFW. Transportation is a huge need, and I've been talking about this for like a year and a half now. There are still no solutions. Many organizations providing transportations, and Prince William providing a piece of that, but not all of them go all the way into DC. Not
yeah,
all of them will stay with a veteran when they're going through chemotherapy and bring them back. There are so many gaps in trying to get veteran transportation. That's a huge piece. And what do we need to make that happen? Well, a lot of times we need money, or we need some kind of sponsorship to sponsor a program to help that work. And another huge piece is just access to these care and services. Now,
yeah,
Victor, as a retired person, we receive certain benefits from the military when we retire. A lot of times veterans only serve like 5, 10, 15 years. It doesn't make their sacrifice any less relevant, but it does totally diminish the benefits that they're eligible for. So we have to look within the county and say, okay, we have, honorably discharged veterans that are suffering in their homes because they don't have access to care. They don't even know how to get this care. So our outreach here in Prince William is really failing, and we can do so much better. And I think this commission can be a big part of that. Do you have any ideas around, getting funding? I know there was no funding when I was
yeah.
talking to with regards to veterans initiatives. Is there any of that on the forefront that you see coming?
Yeah, yeah. So right now, that's not on the forefront. One of the reasons for that was because if we stood this commission up with the funding stream, then it would have to go into this legal loop of the money have to go into the general fund, and then that would come back out. So,
Right.
so the goal right now is to get the commission set up, and then have the commission look at some third party resourcing. There's another, working with my legal. There's another kind of another stream, another process that we can take to kind of link funding to some of the services that we would need for a Veterans Commission on that aspect. So if we tied it right now to the commission itself, it would tie to the county's funding, have to go through the general funds, and just a lot of larger kind of red tape we'd have to go through, so to speak. Doesn't mean it's probably not something that we shouldn't do, but I think the goal right now is to get the commission stood up, and then really have the commission sit down and go that route of, fighting those good battles of what, you all, I say you all, what the commission sees that they need to be more relevant. So,
Exactly. Yeah. And I think the more we can get on board to help us do this going forward, the better off we're all going to be when we get those steps lined up of what needs to happen. I know I have a lot of grassroots data on, what we're doing, what's working, what's not working, what we need to improve on. And that the grassroots information I think is key when we're starting here at the county level. I just received an email not too long ago from Ann Wheeler that talked about the strategic planning process, asking for community input. So what can we do, Victor, to help you get the information you need, get this commission moving forward? Can we put anything within, the strategic plan,
oh yeah.
comments? I'm going to be responding to this later today, but what can we do as a community to help you do your job for
Oh,
us?
yes. Yes. Thank you for that question. And that, right now, we are in such a pivotal time, right? So much is going on, so much has changed, so many people are getting involved now. We have, the whole Black Lives Matter movement going on with this injustices, but there is now more than ever, and I'm starting to receive a lot of emails of people wanting to be a part, wanting to help. And so the Veterans Docket or the Veterans Commission, that was brought up a couple months ago, and then everything else hit. So I would reintroduce that back to say, your interest to be a part of this journey on the Veterans Commission, email me, vsangry@pwcgov.org. I'll leave that information. And also, as Chair Wheeler said, when it comes to the strategic plan, be a part of that process. As we're looking at the strategic plan, we realize there's a lot of growth that plan could actually have. And it's not to, again, say anything negative about the previous board in the last, years that it's been in place. But now's the time with some fresh ideas, fresh thinking, and we can evolve this plan into really be more focused. And the veterans piece is a huge part of that. I want to say this, as you talked about transportation, our PWC has this program called Wheels to Wellness. And so we were looking into who really uses that program. And a lot of those are veterans who need to get to locations because they're not driving. And so we use a cab voucher system on that. I just feel there's a better way we can do that. And I believe that that's something, if I could sit down and just focus on that by itself, we could probably have something else going on. But I believe that's another area.
Yeah, I'd like to, I would love to sit down further and talk, because we had Wheels to Wellness come to our last partnership meeting and speak, the director from that program, and also volunteer Prince William. And the Wheels to Wellness, they're only looking at the very elderly that they offer vouchers for, and they only drive the clients within a specific region too. They may not go all the way down to the VA. So there's programs in place, but there's all these limits. So we, with our veterans in need, can't even utilize. We're having to pay. We're having, to ask, friends of friends to drive. Like all of these really inconsistent measures that aren't doing the job. And in my opinion, our veterans deserve more. If they could drive and get down there, they would, but they can't. Most of them are homebound. Most of them can't drive. A lot of them have disabilities. So, and we're just letting them sit at home, not do their follow-up appointments, not get their medications on schedule and things like that. There's just so many sad inconsistencies in these great transportation programs that you hear are out there that really are not doing the job. So anything, we can do to help you figure out what exactly is going on, because that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's like, what do we have, and then how do we leverage that to expand it to make it meet our needs?
Exactly. Yeah. See, I told you, you're gonna be perfect.
Well, I'm just happy that you're in this position doing what you're doing. And I know we only have a couple minutes left. This time goes so fast. But Victor, you have a lot of dreams and goals with this position coming into it. I know I always call myself like a realistic idealist. I think that there's no limit to some of the things that, and ideas that we have. What are a couple of things that you really want to accomplish as you continue your term here as on-board supervisors?
Thank you, Angela. That's probably the best questions anyone ever asked me. But what I want to accomplish are just really the human goals. Like, I really want to accomplish trust. I want to create trust in Prince William County with the elected officials, the board of county supervisors, the school board, our CXO, all of our county staff. And I think that trust goes through leadership, like solid leadership that, represents its people, represents the organization. And, those two go hand in hand together. But I just feel like before I leave here, even if I'm a one-hit wonder, you'll remember my song. I always tell people that I don't want to be a one-hit wonder, but my goal is just to leave people with the fact that leadership is real, and through real leadership, you get trust, and we get it both ways. And that veteran piece we're talking, I think, plays a huge part in this, because, we know leadership in the military. Even what we're going through right now with all this injustices in America, we know leadership in the military, and we know what cultures and ethnicities and gender. We know what that looks like. At the end of the day, we're very mission focused, right? We want the mission accomplished, and we do that by bringing teams together. And we know what it takes to look in someone's eyes and say, "Hey, you having an issue? Let me work with you on that." And that means a lot to me. That's what I want to, create and build upon in this county. So I have leadership and trust. Those are two things that they're not even. I mean, they are huge. I don't know why they're huge, but I want those two.
Yeah, no, they are huge, and it's kind of the foundation to make everything else work well. It's the foundation of the collaborative, atmosphere you want to create, because you have to be able to trust one another. Then you have to have the leadership abilities to kind of drive the mission and bring people together to support it and do the actions to make it happen. So no, I love those goals, and I think they're attainable. So we will together as a community hopefully get there and make the most and the best out of your time there. Hopefully you're not a one-hit wonder, and just keep us progressing and moving forward. So on that note, Victor Angry, I'd like to thank you for coming on Operation Freedom 2 today with me. I look forward to seeing you in the future, and we can do like updates as we go along with our progress.
Yes.
Stay well, be safe, and I look forward to seeing you the next time.
And you will. You most definitely will see me again. Thank you, Angela. That's just salute.
Thank you for joining us today on Operation Freedom 2 with Dr. Ange Mack. For more information, you can go to my blog spot, drangemack.blogspot.com, or my YouTube, Dr. Ange Mack. And until next time, enjoy your freedom too. Engage with your local politics for positive change. Thanks.